Tzu Chi conducts the first rice seeds distribution in Bago, with many farmers aspiring to give back. Tzu Chi attends the International Climate Show in Switzerland to share concepts of protecting the earth. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Maggie Tsai. Thank you for joining us. This is the first time that Tzu Chi volunteers distributed rice seeds in farmers in Bago province. Tzu Chi has been helping them whenever floods occurred in Bago over the past few years. The distribution this time inspired many farmers as they have vowed to donate their rice banks to Tzu Chi after the harvest.
This is the first time for Tzu Chi to distribute rice seeds in Bago province, but farmers are right ahead of the scheduled time. Domi-san brought along 11 distribution notices. It will save her around $393 in buying the rice seeds.
When I see you handing out the rice seeds, I'm so happy that I want to dance. When the volunteers were singing One Family, it made me feel as we are indeed one big family.
In today's distribution ceremony, I really felt Tzu Chi's love and Master's compassion for us, so I will also make donations in the future.
73-year-old Su Jingguo is wearing a back support because of his recent back injury. He has been standing all day without rest, therefore it is hard on him, but he does not mind it.
这一片土地啊，是我生长70多年的一个土地。
This piece of land is where I grew up for over 70 years. The people here are simple, so I'm willing to give myself to them, and the Master's compassion and the Master's teachings will be able to nourish them. You Tzu Chi volunteers traveled a long distance to Myanmar to help us, so as the village head, I should help my fellow villagers.
This is the first time for Tzu Chi volunteers to give rice seeds in Bago province. They are not strangers to the villagers because many farmers received bean seeds from Tzu Chi last year, and they are confident about the quality of rice seeds from Tzu Chi.
When I used to grow mung beans, I could only get 7 to 8 buckets per acre. But when I planted the bean seeds from Tzu Chi last year, the harvest was very good. I had over 10 buckets per acre.
When I heard the volunteers talking about Master Zheng Yan's story, I was very touched that she is so compassionate. Now that I have received this help, I will also spread love forwards like you do.
The volunteers' love and the efficient distribution allowed the event to be filled with much warmth. Therefore, the power of love is growing deeper in Myanmar.
The rice seed distributions in Myanmar this time helped over 47,000 families in Yangon Province, Bago Province, Mon State, and Kayin State. Tzu Chi used both the digital technology and cloud database to deal with the distribution data, so they were able to complete the distributions in 10 days.
The volunteer opens the camera app in his smartphone and scans the code.
We estimated that it took less than a minute to scan all the information. With the scale of close to 50,000 people, we should be able to complete the distributions in 10 days.
It is hard to believe that 48,000 pieces of data is stored in the cloud. With their unique barcode, each farmer's data can be presented instantly.
好，你学习有很久吗？没有很久，这个很容易，就上手了，对。
简易化了了。
简易化，跟你以前对名册的话。对，
那一个的速度真的是快了好多。
Dharma Master Zheng Yan supports us to try it. This is the first time for Tzu Chi to use this digital system to conduct the registration for the distribution.
The purpose of using this technology is to prevent farmers from waiting too long under the sun. This makes technology filled with humanity, and there are those who can feel the warmth.
It's very smooth. We don't have to wait. We follow each procedure and wait. Everything goes smoothly. It's very fast. If we follow your order, it will go very smoothly.
After the registration, the farmers can receive the rice seed. They are all smiling happily because they can plant them in spring.
After Typhoon Nargis, Dharma Master Zheng Yan has never stopped helping Myanmar. For a period of time, Tzu Chi has been helping people in Myanmar. I believe this is very helpful in improving the relationship between Taiwan and Myanmar.
10 years ago, Typhoon Nargis brought Tzu Chi to Myanmar. Since then, Tzu Chi has rooted in this country. This time, Tzu Chi brings technology and love to help local people move forward.
Vincent Tan, the CEO of Berjaya Corporation in Malaysia, returned to Jing's abode in Hualien with his mother to meet with Dharma Master Zheng Yan. He cooked a meal for the master to express his love and gratitude. Vincent Tan, who is frying food in the pan, is a Chinese businessman in Malaysia. This time, he went back to Hualien Jing's abode again to cook for Dharma Master Zheng Yan to express filial piety.
I want to cook for the master and my mother because they're both here today. They're both my mother. One is my biological mother and another is my spiritual mother.
He brought his 92-year-old mother to meet with Dharma Master Zheng Yan especially. The master encouraged her to save her age in the age treasury so that she can keep her mind young.
80岁的剩下30岁，你就会把80岁的年龄一转心一念啊，我才30多岁。期待大家呢，不要一直想我年纪大了，我不能做了。
Their mind and soul have been refreshed during the 2-day stay at the spiritual home. Vincent Tan and his team will return to Malaysia to continue to spread great love and cultivate blessings. Many Rohingya people have been forced to evacuate from their homeland and flee to Malaysia to find hope. Since the Qatar Red Crescent has long been assisting refugees with education, this time they visited Tzu Chi Free Clinic Center hoping to provide refugees with better care.
Accompanied by official representatives of the Malaysian government, nearly 20 people of the Qatar Red Crescent visited the Tzu Chi Free Clinic Center in Kuala Lumpur.
As you didn't get any benefit from the patients and also the doctors are volunteers, so how you are thinking about the sustainability of this project?
Yeah. So 20,000 people who are volunteering with Tzu Chi are from different walks of life, and they have their own medical association of which consists of a lot of volunteers from all the healthcare professions.
Qatar Red Crescent has long assisted the UNHCR on education projects. Besides education, the UNHCR has invited representatives of the Qatar Red Crescent to learn more and hope they can also help the refugees' medical needs and basic living assistance.
They mainly want to know which groups are truly doing something to help refugees and what difficulties the refugees are facing.
CBI aims to reliance, but what we want to help them.
For more than 10 years, the assistance that Tzu Chi has given to refugees allows participants to witness love has no boundaries. This has inspired many people to join hands to safeguard refugees' health and lives.
Tzu Chi participated in last year's conference of the parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. In February of this year, Tzu Chi was invited to the International Climate Show held in Switzerland to share how they coexist with the Earth.
Un nouveau chapitre climatique a commencé.
The second International Climate Show was held at the Beaulieu-Lausanne Convention Center from February 13 to 14th. Tzu Chi volunteers were invited to share environmental production concepts.
10,000 recycling points and recycling stations in 16 countries, and over 100,000 volunteers, over 100,000 people who participate in this recycling mission as a volunteer without actually getting paid for this.
Volunteers also share with everyone how to implement recycling education in communities. They also introduce DaAi Technologies' innovative products, such as the scarf made from PET bottles. All of these have aroused many people's curiosity.
We're talking about plastic bottles, that's usually PET bottles, so it's very clean. But what about mixed the plastic bags and the mixed plastics? Can you make building materials out of that also?
At last year's COP24 in Poland, Tzu Chi held 10 press conferences to share how they coexist with the Earth. This was how the organizer of the International Climate Show, Dr. Nadia Plata, got to know Tzu Chi. She hopes that more people can learn from Tzu Chi's practices and methods of how to protect the environment. Switzerland is a leading country in the global high-tech field, and Lausanne is a place where many NGOs and tech companies using green energy are stationed. Volunteers seize the opportunity to step onto the international stage, working with more like-minded groups to safeguard the planet.
Today we will discuss if water can really be as expensive as oil. In many places that have been dry for many years, water is very precious. But in Taiwan, the cost of domestic water is only 25% that of the global average. When calculated based upon per capita GDP, it may be even the lowest in the world.
Generally, the Japanese like to run the water when they are washing vegetables. They are not like us who generally worry about wasting too much water.
Letting water flow endlessly is like watching money go down the drain. For Taiwanese in Japan, one of the biggest shocks is the high price of tap water.
They collect this fee once every 2 months, so it is about charged twice a month, which is about $36. So about each month we pay $18.
Taking a look at this monthly bill of $36 for 2 months, this is the equivalent of $18 for 1 month. This is 2.7 times the cost of Taiwan's monthly household water fee. But is it really higher quality? Making a meal will use a lot of water. In order to prevent water costs from dragging down family finances, Chen Li-fen goes all out to save water. Not only using leftover water to flush the toilet, Chen Li-fen's washing machine also makes use of water once used for bathing. This water-saving washing machine is sold everywhere in Japan. It is specially built for those who take baths. With the price of water in Japan being so expensive, it is not an unreasonable appliance.
If you look here, when there's an earthquake, these water pipes will move and the general joint will break.
Taking a trip to the Tokyo International Water Show, we can see these hidden secrets.
This is a water pipe that is protected at the joint and will not break due to such movement.
This is a shock-resistant pipe developed in Japan because most of the water leakage occurs in the joint of the water pipe. The principle of expansion and contraction is useful in an earthquake, and even if there is none, this water pipe is not easy to break. At present, 40% of the water pipes in Tokyo use this kind of water pipe, which has a shock-resistant tube, but the price is 5 to 6 times that of Taiwan's pipes. Tokyo's water leakage rate is only 3%. This 3% water leakage rate is the lowest in the world, and certainly the lowest in the country. According to the statistics of the Taipei Water Supply Division, Taipei and some parts of New Taipei City have a water leakage rate of 14.18% in 2017. In contrast, 3% is the rate that Tokyo has achieved. Failure to achieve this may cost more money for future generations. We have a budget of maintaining water pipes of around $4.5 million. More than $421 million is spent in Taiwan maintaining water pipes. Where does this money come from? Put it bluntly, take a look at your water bill.
Taiwan companies cannot produce earthquake-resistant pipes, so they have to import it from Japan. The price that they post is some 6 times more expensive.
This is a construction site where tap water pipes are being changed. Top officials from Taiwan Water have gone to Japan to observe their operations and express frustration when learning about Japan water rates.
Regardless of whether you are in a mountainous township or near the sea, the price is the same as metropolitan areas. The average water price is about 30 US cents.
How cheap is Taiwan's water price? According to the survey of 33 countries by the International Water Association, the highest price of water is Malta. The average price of water is 128 NT dollars, and the lowest is Mauritius with an average of 6.42 NT dollars. In neighboring Asian countries, Japan averages 34 NT dollars and Hong Kong is 18 NT dollars. As for Taiwan, at 9 NT dollars, it's the top 3 cheapest countries in the survey, only 1/4 of the world average.
With our limited revenue from water fees, we have no way to replace old equipment or upgrade it. For example, Japan uses shockproof connectors.
While we have the lowest water rates, does this also affect the quality of the water?
All the expenses of our main operations come from income generated by water fees. At present, we have to rely on borrowing to cover this shortfall. At present, our debt is around 6,480 million US dollars.
Relying upon borrowing to finance Taiwan's water system may come as a surprise to many people. Taking a closer look at the situation in other countries will come to the water burden rate. This is a household water fee for 200 units of water divided by per capita GDP. The survey found that Japan's burden rate fell to 0.55, Hong Kong 0.2, and Taiwan 0.12, which is actually the world's lightest water burden rate.
There are more than 1,000 water companies in Japan, each of whom can decide water rates.
TSS is a provider of tap water expertise, with one official from the company using the analogy that if you want the horse to run, how can you prevent it from eating the grass?
The equipment in the reservoir also needs to be updated with pipelines, which add to the cost of the water.
In Japan, different counties, cities, and different regions assess different water prices. There are more than 1,000 water companies who set prices based upon the difficulty of laying pipelines to rural areas. Generally, they pay more than metropolitan areas, as everything depends upon market pricing mechanism.
If the water fee is reduced by 10%, it will be subsidized by the local city tax.
There's a need for Taiwan to consider this, as the price of water has not risen for 24 years, even though the cost of all kinds of raw materials has soared. There's simply too many political factors involved, as water price has become a taboo topic.
At present, there are some legislative units or the will of the people, which can let us raise rates to charge a more reasonable water price. For us, it will become more difficult to maintain these water facilities in the future.
Taiwan's low water price is about to come to an end, with many wonder if these chickens may come home to roost one day. Failure to implement upgrades or develop enough revenue to carry out repairs while taking on more debt may eventually lead Taiwan to squander the limited natural resources it has been given.
Each day, there are many Tzu Chi volunteers serving at the humanitarian Ecotech Pavilion in Taichung. Some of them are busy with their overseas business, but they seize the opportunity to help.
Volunteer Huang Xiangyun always feels very happy when seeing children visit the humanitarian Ecotech Pavilion as the Taichung Flora Expo. By her side is her husband Lin Changzhi, who also teaches children.
As long as we are here, we usually take the initiative to ask the team leader whether they need any help. We also seize every opportunity to do good deeds.
Dharma Master Zheng Yan has been encouraging disciples to shoulder more responsibilities and do more good deeds.
The couple who are doing business in China cherish every opportunity to help people in need. The volunteer Chen Meifei from Xitun District runs both the design company and the Rama therapy company. Although she is usually abroad half of the year, she overcomes many difficulties to volunteer.
Right after the Lunar New Year holiday, they informed me about this. When I checked my schedule and found I was available to help, I immediately seized the time to come over.
I spared time to come over today. I overcame difficulties to come and formed good affinities with the visitors.
Volunteers seize each time to help out. With the patience and explanation of volunteers, visitors of the humanitarian Ecotech Pavilion have learned more about environmental protection.
A solitary senior in her 80s became healthier and has also opened her heart after Tzu Chi volunteers companionships for 7 years. The volunteers' encouragement is the best remedy for the grandma.
Grandma City Waspia longs for the volunteers' visit every month.
I'm truly happy because the volunteers always hug me and comfort me.
Grandma City had to depend on neighbors' help after her husband and her daughter passed away. In 2011, city volunteers received a report about the grandma, so they came and repaired her home that had been leaking for decades. She now lives there comfortably. After 7 years of company, Grandma's complexion has improved much, and she looks younger too. The volunteers who have been accompanying Grandma learned a lot too.
There's something I must learn from this. It is that when I become old someday and I must live alone, I must be as strong as Grandma.
He also deserves the credit for making Grandma happy.
I've been taught that loving each other is like loving myself, so I put it into action.
Ferdinand is not very well off, but whenever he's free, he'll visit Grandma and gradually became Grandma's spiritual support.
That's right. If he doesn't come, I will cry, and if he still doesn't show up, I will go out and take a look.
The key to Grandma's recovery is the company of love that makes her mind rich.
In Wuxi City of Jiangsu Province, 25-year-old Lu Jiawei is a uremia patient. Due to his illness, he has received dialysis treatments for many years, which has become a financial burden to the family. Fortunately, Tzu Chi volunteers came to help him and provide financial assistance.
Despite the extreme cold weather, the volunteers still deliver warmth and love to the residents. Lu Jiawei is a uremia patient. A group of volunteers paid a visit to his home to deliver the Lunar New Year gifts.
Have a grateful heart at all times and cultivate good thoughts in daily life. We wish Lu Jiawei a happy Lunar New Year, and we hope you will recover soon.
25-year-old Lu Jiawei's parents were divorced when he was young and has been living with his grandmother ever since. At the age of 14, he was diagnosed with uremia. For 8 years, he has been receiving kidney dialysis, which became a burden to the family. Fortunately, Tzu Chi volunteers came and provide financial assistance. They hope to help the family lessen this burden.
We spent off my husband's pension. There's nothing that I can do. I cried until I have no more tears left. I'm grateful for all of the Tzu Chi volunteers who came to help my grandson Jiawei.
Before the Lunar New Year arrived, volunteers also distributed prepaid debit cards. They made sure that Jiawei's family bought all of the daily supplies that they need. Every time the volunteers come to care for Jiawei, they will always encourage him to stay strong and be positive at all times.
Some trash items in our daily life can all be reused creatively. Let's take a look and thank you for joining us.